Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to continue with our Windows Server 2019 series. Today we are going to install a domain controller, a DNS server and a DHCP server. And for the ones who didn't watch the previous video, you can watch it, or you can just make sure that when you finish the initial setup of your server, just assign it a static IP address, because that's mandatory for the installing any of the roles, and enable remote desktop so you can remotely access your computer or server, and that would be it. You can rename it to put it more simple name. You can with all these letters and numbers random, which are generic upon the installation. So when you have all that set, now we're gonna go to manage, add roles and features. Alright, we click on next. We leave the first option checked, role based and feature based installation. Server selection, if you have more of them, then you select the one which you are installing. Otherwise, it's going to be automatically if it's only one. We click next. So, server roles. For the domain controller, we want to install Active Directory domain services, which will add all features that it needs to install together with it. So we're gonna click on add features, and at the same time we can install the DHCP server and add features again. Go to next. From any additional features at this moment we don't need anything else, so we're gonna click on next again. Yes, we're gonna install the ADDS, DHCP confirm, confirmation, and install. So this is going to take a while. We're gonna have to set up our domain, and automatically it will set up the DNS server as well. This can take up to a few minutes, and after this installation we will need to reboot, because it's going to boot into with another domain account. So we're going to speed up this a little bit. Part of installation is done. Now we need to promote the server to the domain controller. As you can see here in this installation window, you can see the link. Click on this link. So we have a few options here. Add a domain controller to an existing domain, which we don't have. Add a new domain to an existing forest, which we don't have, and add a new forest. So this one is the one which we are going to mark, and then we're going to put in here the new domain name. So you can put basically whatever you like, just don't make any domains like .com, .net. You can do it. Anyway, it's not going to have any access to the internet, so we're just going to put test.local. Then we click next. Here you can choose the functional level of your forest and your domain. The best I recommend, depends. There are some options which are not supported on earlier versions, so anyway, even if you put a lower one, it's not going to make too much difference, because your domain thing, your domain controller is going to be on a functional level of Windows Server 2016, even though it's 2019. Here there is no option for the Server 2019 because basically it's on top. If you install the other servers as a Windows Server 2019, they are already going to have all these functionalities of the previous versions. This is only if you have some other servers on your domain, on your network, they have the lower functionality. So you can basically put the functionality of this server down to match the previous version, so they can work seamlessly. And then the other thing, we have these two boxes here for the password, directory service remote restore mode password. So this is very important thing, especially if you're planning to make this server as a production and you're not going to reinstall it whenever something goes wrong. In the companies, usually when they make this password, they print it out, on a paper, they put the paper in the envelope, they seal it with the company seal, and they leave it in the safe with the rest of the important company documents. So if something goes south, they're gonna need this password to restore domain controller. So it's just going to put something here. And then we're gonna click next. DNS option. If you already have a DNS server in your network, you can delegate that DNS server to work as a main domain DNS. In this case, we are going to just leave it as it is. Additional options, this is going to just make a generic NetBIOS name for your server, which is, as you can see, basically just a name in all capital letter without any domain extension. This is just a path to your database, log files, sysvol files. So just leave it as it is, don't change anything. Click next. Review options, next. Now it's going to check if your server meets all the prerequisites. And it will tell you if something is missing, if something is wrong. So we have here all prerequisite checks are passed successfully. Click install, to begin installation. Then we're going to click install. Alright, so you can see this message. This server was successfully configured as a domain controller. So we're going to close this and this one as well, and then now we are going to reset the machine. We rebooted the machine and we are logging in into our new domain. You have noticed that now when you're logging in, there is a first domain name, then a slash, then your username, which is good sign. That means that everything went perfectly. So we are going to wait for our server manager to get up and running. Alright, so we have all the services started already, and now we're gonna click on this little flag over here with exclamation mark. Oops. Complete DHCP configuration. And this will guide you through the little wizard. Yes, use the same ADN count as admin, then you're going down to commit, and then close. And the DHCP, and now I click on our server name, IPv4, right click, and new scope. So we're going to configure the new scope of the IP addresses. We're going to put the name just to scope 1. Sorry. Start IP address. So which we're going to put 192.168 and 10.1, and IP address we're going to put 168.10.255. Subnet we're going to leave the same. Sorry, yeah, it cannot be 255 because the last address in the subnet is a broadcast address, so we cannot put it. Exclusions, if you want to save some of them, you can put the exclusion start and end. Let's say we want to save 20 addresses, we're going to put the start at 192.168.10. I don't know, 5 and to 25, let's say, and then we're gonna save those 20 addresses. If we need to assign those as a static to something, to some other servers or some devices that we need to have a static address. Lease duration we're gonna leave the same, no need to change. This is where you determine how long the devices which get the lease from the DHCP server. So they are basically devices booting, it's asking first broadcasting everywhere on a network, asking for the DHCP service, DHCP server answering, giving it, issuing it the IP address, and that IP address is valid for 8 days, or as much as we put in here. And then the device itself, after 4 days, is going to send a request to extend the lease. So 50% of the time it's sending a request again to extend the lease. But basically you put this less than it is only if you are working in an environment that you have like a guest network, Wi-Fi or something, and it's they don't stay too long time on the network. So basically, if the lease would be 8 days, you would run out of IP addresses very fast. So that's why you put like a lease for 2 hours, and after 2 hours, that address which was assigned to one device is going to be available again for the other device which coming to log in. Alright, now we can proceed. Next again. Do you want to configure DHCP? Yes. Router, we're gonna put in here the IP address of your own gateway router. 168. Sorry, 168. No. And now automatically every device which requests IP address from the DHCP, it will get all settings. So it will get the DNS server as configured here. It will know which domain it belongs to, and it will have a default gateway address. Win server we are going to skip. Next, and we are going to activate the scope. Finish. And as you can see, now it's active. So any device that tries to connect to this network, now it's going to get a IP address from the DHCP server. Now let's take a look at the DNS options. So we're going to Tools, DNS Snapping. Forward local zone. So we have, and as I said, we already have our host records for our domain controller or for our domain. You can search it, as you can see here. If we type in from the other computer now into the browser server 2019, it will know where to look for it. And same as for the name server. Now, if you want to put the reverse lookup zone, what it means? Usually we are looking for the particular computer by the name. So people are much better in remembering the names than the numbers. But if we don't know the name from some reason of the computer and we know which IP address is, we can like this we can find out the name. So how it's working? Basically the same but reverse, as it says, reverse lookup zone. So usually you would type in www.google.com and you the DNS server, the Google would translate into the IP address, and the computer would search for it from the IP address. But like this, if you put 192.168.0.55 and you ask what the name it is, it will tell you. So we're going to put a primary zone to all DNS running domain controller on this domain, IPv4 reverse lookup zone, network ID. Here you're going to put a regular IP address, but only first three parts. And as you can see here, a reverse lookup zone is going to be 0, it's 168.192. Allow secure dynamic updates. Finish. So we did that as well. Conditional forwarders. Let's add. So how are we going to do this? We're going to type here, let's say, what is conditional forwarder? Conditional forwarder is if, for example, now I'm trying to find a Google on this DNS server. It doesn't have any DNS records about the name www.google.com because it doesn't know basically which is the IP address of that name. So if something like that happens, now we're going to put the conditional forwarders, so the DNS server, if you get a request which is unknown for it, it will forward the request to this server which we put in here now. There we go. DNS.google, state is OK. And we're going to put that's the name of the forwarder. So if it doesn't know, cannot resolve some address, it will ask Google, hey, where is this in this name? What is the address of this name? And that will be it. This is the basic settings. So now you have basically your network code set up and ready to join the other servers to the domain. How are you going to do it? It's very easy. When you install a new fresh server on some other machine or a virtual machine, you're gonna just go to the computer settings, like it's here. It's going to say a workgroup, and you're going to go computer name, change. Okay, we cannot do it here because it's a domain controller, and say straight away, don't do it. You're gonna ruin everything, and then you're gonna, like on this one on beginning, it was in a workgroup. Then we're gonna put mark domain. We're gonna put the name of our domain, and it will ask us for network or domain authorization authority. So we're gonna put username and password from the administrator of this domain controller, which we set already for this machine. And that would be it. Next time we're going to install the Hyper-V hypervisor, and we're going to run some virtual machines, which is going to be interesting. By then, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, like and share. Thank you. See you.